Welcome to part 5 of the Convergence, and all things are converging. This is December the 7th, 2022. And getting on into this footage.
Of Urumqi in the west of China has effectively been its own concentration camp for the last 3 months. It's been completely locked down. Residents have been unable to leave their homes for any reason, including to get food or medicine. So you have
Including to get food or medicine. You're not allowed to leave your homes over there to even get food or medicine.
to ask, since China is the biggest country in the world, our main rival, largest economy, what does the Biden administration think of this? We must have a position on it. We have a State Department that exists to think up positions on things like this. So what does the Biden administration think of what's happening in China? Well, apparently they agree with it. Today, a White House spokesman, John Kirby, the famous John Kirby, was asked for official reaction to the human rights protests raging today in China. And here's what he said.
What is the president's reaction when he hears protesters in China chant freedom or Xi Jinping step down?
The president's not going to speak for protesters around the world. They're speaking for themselves.
So there's no reaction?
These protesters are speaking for themselves. What we are doing is making it clear that we support the right of peaceful protest.
The protesters are speaking for themselves. Haven't we spent $60 billion to prop up the corrupt government of Ukraine because they're on the side of freedom and democracy, even though it's not a free or democratic country? But that's the pretext. We're for freedom.
Shush,
But here you
Tucker,
have
you ain't
people
supposed
saying,
to
hey,
tell
I don't want to be
everything
thrown
you
in a
know.
concentration camp or starve to death in my own apartment. And the Biden administration can't even take their side? Really? They speak for themselves? They don't speak for the U.S. government? The U.S. government doesn't stand for basic human rights anymore? Really? John Kirby? You should...
This is who you think God appointed? These people that are in office now are who you think God set up? With your little theory, God sets them up and God will set them down? That's not how God appointed men, as I was saying in the previous video. No, if you were reading your word, you would know it was not done through the electoral process. It was done because the prophets did it. And Jesus did not come to do away with the prophets. No, in the last day, in fact, your sons and your daughters are supposed to be prophets. But currently, we got men that's sitting on the women and saying, no, you can't do that. You can't do that. You can't do that. Well, guess what? God is going to lash out. It's going to come right about them women, and they're going to do it anyway. And if you come against them, you're going to buy a curse for you and your house. Hear me and understand what I'm saying. You keep coming against the women that truly are of God, and you're going to buy a curse for you and your house. I don't care who you are. Don't care how much you think God caught you. You keep coming against God where He is, and you're going to buy a curse for your house, your family, and you're going to die. You're going to wither up and be gone. Because that's what's going to be happening to those. You think global warming's hot already? Hell's hotter. And guess what? We headed to the first heat. And let's not forget those massive talent-sized hellballs that are coming. Oh, yes. And let's touch just a wee skosh of a bit on the volcanic activity that's been going on lately. There was, I think, 27 volcanoes erupting the other day on the Earth simultaneously. But no, y'all think this is completely normal. This is nothing new. No, you just been asleep so long you wouldn't know. Because you think that since the fathers fell asleep, all things remain the same. But it doesn't. Absolutely not, it doesn't. But no, since the fathers fell asleep, things do not remain the same. You just sleeping, sleeper, so you ain't noticing the changes. You're too wrapped up in your sinful life to notice that Jesus is passing you by. I don't know how many times he's come on to you already. And you received him not. There's a thought. He could have been that homeless man that you passed up and turned a blind eye to. He could have been that little addict on the street that you could have invited to church. But you thought, no, they're addicts. I don't want them in my church. It could have been that little person that little widow that nobody pays attention to. Oh, they're fine. Or maybe that little orphan that nobody's given guidance to. You don't know. You don't know what Jesus looks like. You honestly
You should be
do
ashamed
not
of
even
yourself.
know.
It's hard to believe that's real.
Thanks, Tucker. Yes, they should be ashamed of themselves. You're exactly right. They should be ashamed of themselves. Of course, that's not what Tucker's talking about. But we'll take a win. It just happened to come in there perfectly. Of course, Tucker's still talking about the Biden administration and the reaction to China starving people to death over there. I myself am appalled at the action of these governments. But hey, this is the beast system we're setting up. You can't expect them to play fair. Because the God of this world has some blinded. Does he have you blinded? Apparently so. Because you think that has nothing to do with you. And yet, it absolutely does. Because that's just the testing grounds over there for new things. Look at the pandemic. It hit there and then it hit here. Look at the thing there at the very outset of this convergence, the part 1 of the convergence videos. The little digital thing, a digital monitoring system. Started over there. Latching on over here. We got a lot going on. And we got a lot more to go. So let's get on into this.
Israel. The U.S. Congress has by and large adopted the same posture. Nor did we hear a word from the NBA commissioner, that would be Adam Silver. Now, Adam Silver also spends a lot of time yelping about what an authoritarian country this is and threatening the people who live here with punishment. He has no problem threatening American voters in North Carolina, for example, or in Texas who wanted separate bathrooms for little girls. What does he think of killing people for wanting to leave their apartment? Or throwing people en masse into concentration camps? Well, we decided...
That's just saving them the necessity of having to run death panels. But don't worry, that's coming too.
...to find out. So we emailed his office today to get his view of Chinese concentration camps. What does Adam Silver think of that? one of our premier moral voices, and we didn't get a reply. Why is that? Maybe because he has made millions.
Now, wait a minute, Tucker. I'm starting to get upset. See, when I started spouting all this stuff in 2020, everybody hollered, that's a conspiracy theory or nuts. And now you're doing it. Now you're doing it. And what are they going to say? Okay, a lot of them will probably still say, that's a conspiracy theory and you're nuts. But, well, I won't because I know it's coming. But, well, why do you have to wait for the proof before you believe what God says? Boof.
Personally, in the NBA itself makes billions of dollars in China. So the NBA has no word to say about China throwing its population into concentration camps, turning Shanghai into a prison. And in fact, when you ask NBA coaches about civil rights abuses in China, what you get is a lecture about how we're worse.
If you think I'm nuts now, wait till I emerge from my cocoon. Oh, I can't wait.
Watch.
Nor has our record of human rights abuses come up either. People in China didn't ask me about, people owning AR-15s and mowing each other down in a mall. I wasn't asked that question.
Oh, so China commits genocide against Muslims and locks down a city of 25 million people, but we've got the Second Amendment and they're pretty much the same. That's the word from Steve Kerr, who's a very famous coach. These people are all on the take from China. The NBA is literally on the take from China. And therefore, they will not say a single negative word about their masters. This is not an American league. These are not people who are loyal to the United States. They despise the
Okay, I got this really weird question on my mind. Watching this footage here, what's the deal with all those people out there in the white suits with the little shield thingies that they're putting up, like a battering ram thing to protect them from the battering rams? Why are they out there in just those? What is that? Biohazard suits? With just a shield to deflect stuff? Where's their, if that's the police, where's their riot gear and whatnot? Anybody find that their video hokey? And that's not the hokey pokey. I am quite fond of the hokey pokey, and that is not it, what they're doing there. Although they was almost unison as just going down that street. Could have almost been the Macarena if they thrown a couple more movements into it. Oh my Lord, I got
United States are on the payroll of China. That's true. So they can't even criticize children burning alive in a high-rise apartment building because the doors have been nailed shut because of COVID, which doesn't actually pose a threat to anybody. So the NBA is taking a pass. Eric Swalwell and his Chinese spy girlfriend are taking a pass. The White House is taking a pass. State Department, MSNBC taking a pass. So you have to ask, what about the basic ideas behind this? One of the most basic ideas in American life is that it's my body, my choice. We have bodily autonomy in this country. Bodily autonomy. And bodily autonomy is central to the abortion debate. You can't force me to carry my child to term because it's my body. I control my body, not the government. And in case you haven't heard that argument before, here it is. This is from recently. Watch.
The right to choose is on this ballot.
We want to protect a woman's right to choose.
Are you ready to stand up for a woman's right to choose?
Remove all doubt that a woman has a right to choose.
Now, why do you think they're trying to bring up this right to choose stuff so much, people? Bet you thought that was just about the abortion. Try thinking a little harder. My body, my right to choose about not having things plunged into my temple that I do not want. Will not have. Give me a choice. Where's my Gucci? I'm talking about the guillotines. Where is all this stuff? Huh? See you in the next part.